Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar series, Navigating SOE Compliance, Part 2, QAI Profile Workbooks. I'm Josephine Mann, a Technical Operations Manager at QAI, and I'm thrilled to bring this focus to the critical aspects of compliance and the updated NOP regulation, focused on strengthening organic enforcement, also known as SOE. In an era where regulatory demands are on the rise, effective compliance strategies are essential, not only for adherence to the regulations, but also for reducing fraud and promoting ethical practices. Throughout this series, we will explore vital topics, such as the principles of organic enforcement, best practices for fostering a culture of compliance, and innovative approaches to risk management, all aimed at mitigating fraud risks. Our expert speakers will share examples, actionable insights, and the latest trends to help you navigate the complexities of strengthening compliance while actively combating fraudulent activities. Whether you are a compliance officer, manager, or stakeholder, this series is designed to equip you with the knowledge and tools to implement effective SOE initiatives that enhance transparency and accountability. Join us as we embark on this journey to create more robust and sustainable compliance practices. Together, we can make a significant impact in reducing fraud and promoting integrity within our organizations. It is my pleasure to introduce Courtney Mayhew, who will be presenting the session today. As an account manager, Courtney brings a wealth of experience and insight into Profile Workbooks, and I'm confident you'll find her expertise both illuminating and practical. Please join me in welcoming Courtney Mayhew to the stage.
Hi, everyone. So glad to be here today with you all. Due to SOE going into effect, it has led to less exemptions and more certified operations. So today, we'll explore how to navigate these changes inside of your profile workbooks. Let's get started. SOE requires more entities to be certified. All right, I'm gonna start over, sorry. SOE requires more entities to be certified. Anyone who is considered to be facilitating the sale of organic products must be certified. Brand owners and corporate locations procuring ingredients, distributors, importers, and traders are now certified handlers. Considering all of these changes, how do we fill out the profile workbook? First, we will take a look at the Products tab. You might be asking yourself, well, what is this? This is the area where we list all of your products, including their brand names and the market information for each. This area allows for quick review and for all of your products to be seen in one document, keeping your files much cleaner. So let's break it down into each section. We'll start with the product label name. This is the listing that is requested on the organic certificate. It is recommended that you omit the word organic and the brand to ensure readability on the certificate. It's also what needs to match the label. So it should be the actual label name, but can also include the product code, listing by item type, such as beets, golden, bread, whole wheat, things like that. Organic products or ingredients should be specific to identify what the product does or is. They should include codes as listed on the product label when that code differentiates it from similar products. For example, creamer pumpkin spice must include creamer rather than just stating pumpkin spice. Or a flavor, strawberry flavor, should include the type and the code listed on the label and formulation. As you'll see here, we have a couple examples. So organic oats is redundant because if the product is listed on this product tab, it is obviously organic. So you would just put oats. Pumpkin spice isn't clear enough, so we would add creamer. Strawberry flavor, we should add the type of flavor and that product code. Next, let's move on to brand name. This is the brand used to market the product. If a product is packaged and marketed under multiple brand names, enter the product multiple times on the product list. And for non-retail packaged goods, use the company name that represents the product. If you're listing an ingredient being procured for a co-manufacturer or as the corporate entity, the brand name can be listed as various so as to not disclose the supplier. That has been the biggest change with SOE in trying to keep your information private while still being compliant under the organic regulations. Next, let's move on to format and claim. The format of the product is a drop-down menu with the code describing each product's marketing format, whether it be retail, non-retail, or work in process. The claim is then also a drop-down, and it's 100% organic, which is for NOP only, organic, which is greater than 95%, made with organic, greater than 70%, or ingredient panel only. Each organic standard has a maximum allowed level and specific eligibility requirements. So just because you put it on there doesn't mean that you'll be able to, and your account manager will work with you on making sure that this is correct. Products need only to be listed once with the highest marketing claim being made. So if you have, for example, oats that are 100% and oats that are 95% because you're marketing to the equivalency in Canada, you only need to put the 100%. QAI will automatically make that adjustment on the organic certificate issued. Next, we go to certifier and owner. Certifier listed on each finished product label. So be sure to have certificates and product listings for each product distributed, traded, or manufactured for non-QAI certified customers. The owner of the product, you can list NA if your company owns the product, or list the company name if your customer owns the product. Be sure to attach the labels for each product and its destination markets. Next, we'll discuss certifier and owner. You'll list the certifier listed on each finished product label. If the label is not QAI, please be sure to have the certificates and product listings for each product distributed, traded, or manufactured for a non-QAI certified customer. If you are just certifying the product or your customer is QAI certified, you can just list QAI. For the owner of the product, if your company owns that product, you can go ahead and put NA in that section. If not, list the company name of your customer and attach the labels for each product and its destination markets. Activity. Activity is the location's product process. You will select the codes from the drop-down menu to specify the product activity. We have C for crop and livestock products grown and raised on this operation. M for manufactured multi-ingredient product. This means that you will have to complete a recipe calculation, which we'll discuss at the end. S for simple single ingredient process, i.e. ingredient cleaning, roasting, cutting, milling with no blending. R for repackaged without processing. D for distributed in the same package received. T, traded product not physically handled. O, other activities, which must be described in the workbook and the comment section. Let's move on to export or import, ingredient, and processing aids. Export or import of a product. If the company is the exporter or importer of record, you will select E for export or I for import as applicable. If the product is being both exported and imported, select the E/I column. Be aware that when selecting the import or export, that we'll be looking for specific pieces of paperwork while at inspection. The ingredient column on this sheet is only for single ingredient or repackaged items when the product name is different than the ingredient item name being packaged. For example, if the product is called nonstick cooking oil, but it only uses the single ingredient olive oil. Processing aids. This is also a drop-down menu, like several of the others. And it's if you're using a processing aid during the handling of that organic product. If you are, add the processing aid to the supplier sheet with additional information requested. This field is not required for manufacturers of multi-ingredient products since the processing aids are disclosed in the recipe sheets, which you will see at the end of this presentation. Markets. Markets are where a lot of our clients get a little confused, but I'm here to make sure that we have it all straightened out. So the market is where each product is sold or distributed. So we have the US, Canada, Quebec, the European Union, Mexico, or other for other international locations. You will select all that apply to that product, but you do want to make sure that you are actually certified to that standard and discuss the necessities with your account manager prior to just selecting a market. Keep in mind, compliant labels must be submitted for each market as well. Now we can move on to the supplier tab. What is it? This allows for quick review and allows all of your ingredient information to be seen in one document. Once again, keeping for cleaner records. You'll list all organic, non-organic, and processing aids, including supplier information on this tab. We do not put sanitizers, boiler additives, or pest controls in this tab. When filling this out, please enter all new ingredients on this tab and highlight new rows when submitting ingredient addition requests with the supplier certificate and OCA to show the standards the ingredient is certified to for ease of approval. What exactly is the supplier tab? This is where you list all organic, non-organic, and processing aid ingredients with all supplier information. It does not include sanitizers, boiler additives, or pest control. Those all go in the OSP and AML documents. For questions about those, please contact your account manager. This tab allows for quick review and allows all ingredient information to be seen in one document. Once again, making for ease of record retention and review during audit. When entering new ingredients on this tab, please highlight the new rows and be sure to include your supplier certificate and OCA to show the standards that the ingredient is certified to for ease of review for your account manager. Now let's go through each part of the supplier tab. We'll start with name, organic supplier, and organic certifier. The name is obviously the name of the traded or distributed finished product or the name of the ingredient or processing aid. It is also recommended, just like the product tab, that you omit the word organic from the ingredient name, as can be seen here with organic oats or organic pumpkin. The organic supplier. This is the name of the certified supplier you are receiving the ingredient from. This is one of the changes that we've seen for SOE. Now, since basically every entity has to be certified, this might have changed since your last audit. Each supplier of an ingredient must be listed in a separate line. You cannot have several suppliers listed in the same line. The organic certifier is the name of the certifier of the organic supplier. Please make sure that this matches that of the certificate and to make your account manager aware if this changes. As we can see, I have two separate oat suppliers. So I have supplier X with QAI and supplier Y with certifier A. Now we'll move on to non-organic ingredient name and non-organic supplier. The name of the non-organic ingredient or processing aid goes in the name column. We don't have a separate column for this. Once again, each supplier must be listed in a separate line. And rather than the organic supplier column, the name of the supplier will go in the non-organic supplier column. Please ensure that for all the non-organic ingredients that you put 0% in that organic percentage column. Now we move on to country and processing aid. Country is the location where the last certified supplier is located, not where the ingredient is manufactured or originated. This has been one of the major changes with SOE and more entities being certified. So for example, if an ingredient originated in France, but it was purchased from a certified supplier in the US, the country column needs to list the US. For processing aid, identify all materials that are used as a processing aid and provide a description of their function in the comment section. As you can see in my example table, the oats with Trader Y, I have a note showing that they were grown in Peru but bought from a trader in the USA. The comment section can be used however you need to better track your ingredients. Let's talk about markets again. As you can see, we have several columns for the different markets that certificates can be from and compliances for the ingredients. Please mark with an X to indicate the standards to which the ingredient is certified to, whether it be USDA, NOP, Canadian equivalency, or CORE, Mexico, EU, etc. If an ingredient is certified to an equivalency, such as the US-EU equivalency, then both the NOP and EU may be selected. Same goes for the US-Canada equivalency. The LPO column identifies ingredients and processing aids that are used in products made to the LPO standard. Organic percentage, multi-ingredient, and comments. The organic percentage certification claim of an ingredient processing aid as provided by the supplier, or list 95% for organic or 70% for made with organic. It can be defaulted to the lowest percentage for the certification claim listed on the supplier certificate. If you are claiming a specific percentage, it must be accompanied by documentation from that certifier. For multi-ingredients, please mark with an X in the multi column. And ingredients containing salt, water, multiple ingredients, we do ask that you provide a specification sheet with your submissions. As discussed, the comment section can be used however you see fit to better help you manage your ingredients. Finally, we're moving on to the recipe tab. What is this? This sheet is only required for those handling operations that process products by combining multiple ingredients. If you're only handling single ingredients and there's no blending, you do not have to fill this out. You will list all the ingredients in recipe amounts to confirm the organic percentages. Once again, this allows for quick review without needing to enter all of your information over and over again. Let's go through each part of this tab. Product name and brand name. Product name and brand name fields are pick lists that contain only information already completed on the product list worksheet. So you don't have to go back and re-enter things. Once it's in your products tab, it will come up in this pick list. Ingredient recipe quantity, organic percentage, organic quantity. The ingredient field is also a pick list that will allow you to pick from your ingredients that you already entered in the Supplier tab, making it easier. Recipe quantities is the weight or volume of each ingredient as they are listed on your batch record or your floor recipe. Please ensure when using ingredients in both solid and liquid form to use the weight of the liquid ingredients, as it is important to use the same unit of measure for each ingredient to ensure proper calculation of the organic percentage. Your organic percentage of each ingredient should match that on the Supplier tab. And the organic quantity is self-calculating, adjusted based on the organic percentage and amount used in the recipe. Water, salt, and processing aids. Water and salt added during the product manufacturing are excluded from organic calculations. You'll enter the quantity of water and salt used in this recipe in the orange cells below. The processing aid field offers an available list from information you already entered on the supplier list, just like the ingredient tab having a pick list. The purpose of the processing aid should also be added in the corresponding column. I know this is a lot of information. Please feel free to submit questions so we can clarify anything that you may have confusion about. And thank you for attending the webinar on Profile Workbooks and the changes that came from the SOE. Thank you.